Hi everybody, Dan Ullman, Mike Beer, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Saturday, October the 14th, race number 9 at Keeneland. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup for 3-year-old fillies going 1 1/8 miles on the turf. Our coverage is presented by Fasig-Tipton, and it is worth noting that both Madame Dancelot and Beau Recall, two of the major players in the QE2, are both cataloged to the November sale at Fasig-Tipton to be held on November the 6th at Lexington, Kentucky. Remember to head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com, download your free Formulator past performances, and handicap along with us as we take this field in post-position order. Mike, the number 1 is Conte Partiro, who came from 24th of 24 to win the Sandringham Handicap 2 starts back at Royal Ascot. And then the Del Mar Oaks, returning to the States, she fell just too far back.
Yeah, well, she was way far back in that Sandringham as well. I mean, it was a huge field, but she was way out of it in that race. That race really fell apart at the end, and she got up. It was a really good ride from Jamie Spencer, and she won that race. You know, there's 4 of these horses coming back out of the Del Mar Oaks. I don't know how you feel about it, Dan. I guess any one of them could win. I don't really love that race. I mean, that was a big closers race. They were all out of it. They came running late and ran 1, 2, 3, 4 in a close finish. Maybe one of them will win it back, but I'm not taking any one of those 4.
Yeah, those blanket finishes are really tough to discern. Most of the time you look at 3, 4 across the wire, and it's hard to say, well, all 4 of them ran super races. Yeah. And more likelihood, maybe it's more of a mediocre race than anything, although Conte Partiro, I think, is in sneaky good form. I don't want to argue with a 30-to-1 morning line. The number 2 is Proctor's Ledge, who is 2 for 2 with Lasix. She was the Lady of the Lake at Saratoga. She won the Lake George. She won the Lake Placid. She handles this distance without any problem. She has the tactical speed to get a good spot early, and that can be very key in this race.
Yeah, that's what I like maybe more than anything else. But I mean, obviously I like the way that she's improved this year as a 3-year-old. Even those races at the start of the year where, you know, 3rd, 4th, 2nd in some pretty good races. I mean, she ran well in all 3 of those and didn't get the best of trips in some of those races. She was really good at Saratoga. I just really feel like, I love that she's drawn inside in this race, and I feel like she's just going to get a really good trip in this race. And in a race like this, where I think a lot of different horses can win, I want a horse not only who's in form like she is, but who can get a good trip in this race, and I think she'll get one.
The 3 is Daddy's Lil Darling, a 1-run closer that's just about danced every dance since her career debut last June. She finally got her first turf win, most recently at Kentucky Downs in the Dueling Grounds Oaks. But here's a formulator fact perhaps to consider for trainer Ken McPeak. Over the past 5 years in races restricted to 3-year-olds, last out winners on the turf, only 1 for 31, a 17-cent ROI. I like this horse. She's a real hard hitter. I'm just not sure the pace scenario works to her favor.
Yeah, the way the race projects to be run may not help her. She's also, it does feel like, to me anyway, I feel like she's going to have to improve, I think, to be this race. I'm with you. I like her as a horse, and she can sort of do anything out there, no matter what the surface is. And I like her last race a lot. I mean, she just destroyed that field at Kentucky Downs, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't against these kinds of horses. She's facing basically every good 3-year-old turf filly in the country is in this field. I think she's going to have to up her game a little bit to win it, but I'm not going to be shocked if she does. I think she's pretty good.
What do you do with a talented nibbler that just can't seem to get over the hump in these graded stakes races on the East Coast? You ship her west, and that's what they did with Dream Dancing. They sent her to the Del Mar Oaks. She came from well off the pace. As you mentioned, that was a closer's race. I thought she was beautifully handled by Julien Leparoux, just patiently handled on the turn, swung out at just the right time, and was able to get her nose down on the wire. Now she's back against La Coronel and Daddy's Little Darling and New Money Honey and Proctor's Ledge, horses that have beaten her before.
Yeah, so far this year as a 3-year-old, she's really struggled against the better 3-year-old turf fillies. Not that she's run poorly necessarily in any of those races. She's just struggled to beat a lot of them. You're right. When they got her out to Del Mar last time, maybe it was just getting a little bit easier competition and getting a great ride from Leparoux. It was just enough to get it done. We'll see if she can up her game. She's going to have to up her game to beat these horses.
Marcassi, though, having a tremendous meet at Keeneland.
Too.
The 5 is Unforgettable Filly. Now, Unforgettable Filly's big moment overseas was a win in the German 1,000 Guineas, a Group 2 race. She was supposedly in heat the week before her most recent start, and then she showed up, got ground that's softer than what she liked, and she did not perform at all in a Group 3 race. She now gets Lasix for Hugo Palmer. Even if you want to make the excuse for the last race, I still think that German form pales in comparison to the other European in this race and some of our better 3-year-old fillies on the turf.
Listen, I agree with that. She had 1 or 2 starts prior to that last one, which was just a total disaster. I like that you just they threw every excuse of the book at her on the soft ground. She's in heat, what, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if she can bounce back. Her 2 races prior to that were both pretty good, but I think you're right, she probably has to improve.
La Coronel, last year's Group 3 Jessamine winner at Keeneland, has always shown an affinity for this turf course. She won second time out this year in the Appalachian at a mile. She began this season as the leading light of the 3-year-old filly turf division. They sent her to Royal Ascot. She was far from embarrassed, but she was overmatched.
Yeah.
And since she's come back, have you noticed that maybe she's just been a little bit below par?
I think she has. We'll see what happens. I didn't like her Lake Placid at all, but it was her.
Washed out and dead on the board.
Yeah, dead on the board. You're right. It was her first start back from Europe, so maybe you want to give her that one. I don't really know what you want to say about her last race in the Sands Point. I mean, not that she ran poorly in there; she missed a neck, but boy, did she have all the best of it. She had no trouble getting to the early lead in there. Sort of controlled that pace the entire way, and just got run over by Uni late. You know, I don't know. She's not for me anymore. I know she's a good horse. I know that she could win, and I do respect the fact that she really likes Keeneland. She's not for me.
Personally, I think the jury is still out, but do you think that the 1 1/8 is just a little far for her?
Yeah, you know, the distance probably doesn't help her that much either. That's a good point.
The number 7 is Wuheda, shipping from overseas for Team Godolphin and Charlie Appleby. And this filly started out her career like she was going to be something.
Yeah.
She won her first 2 starts, including a Group 1 in France, and then she suffered a fairly serious injury that knocked her out for most of early 2017. She has not won from 4 starts this year, but she's kept very good company, and she was right in the thick of it last time out in a quality Group 1 in France. She's lightly raced, she gets Lasix, and she showed a little bit of tactical speed over there. It's not like she's this slow-breaking closer. I think she's a main contender.
I like that too. I like that she has tactical speed, and you know they're cutting her back. Last race 1 1/4 miles. Now she goes 1 1/8 miles, just 13 days after that race. So we'll see what we get. Personally, I look at her like this. I think she is a good horse. I think she can get a good trip in this race. I guess you just have to decide, do you think that Rhododendron and Hydrangea, those 2 horses that beat her in her last 2 starts, who are both 3-year-old fillies, by the way, I know those are races for older horses, they're both 3-year-olds. Do you think they're better than the horses that this horse has to run against in this race? Because let's be honest about her last 2 races, and I don't, you know, we haven't talked about this, so maybe you don't agree, but she got really good trips in both of those races, and she took her shot, and she was not good enough. So unless you just think those 2 horses are better than anything she's facing now, I don't see why you would like her in here at some kind of short price.
We do have a good cast of 3-year-old filly turf horses in North America right here, but I think this horse has shown some ability. The 8 is Madame Dancelot, beaten favorite in the Del Mar Oaks, beaten a neck for all of the money. She, like many of the horses in the race that completed the superfecta, fell far back early. She had to wait a little bit in traffic down towards the inside on the far turn, but once she split horses, she had her chance, and like always, she didn't change leads in the stretch.
Right, and I wonder if the distance maybe got to her a little bit. I wonder if she's a little better going shorter. First of all, I don't know why she's fallen so far out of it in her last 2 starts. It's not like she's a slow horse. I mean, they were sprinting her. She was keeping up with the pace, and for some reason in her last 2, she fell way out of it. I'd like to see her get closer to the pace this time, but I'd still worry about the 9 furlongs for her.
Madame Dancelot again cataloged to the November sale at Fasig-Tipton on November the 6th, as well as next-door neighbor number 9, Beau Recall, who is winless from her last 5 starts. She's had some tough beats, though. First, she was in against Surcat Sally 3 times when that filly was all of the rage out in Southern California. I didn't think she had the greatest trip in the world in the Belmont Oaks at a distance that was a little bit far. Last time out in the Del Mar Oaks, though, boy, I mean, she swung wide turning into the stretch. She had her chance. She came with her run. She's a solid horse. I think she has a little bit more upside than some of the other horses coming out of the Del Mar Oaks. Is now the time at 12 to 1?
Maybe. I guess the thing that was a little disappointing about her last race was that she had first run on Dream Dancing in that race, and she just couldn't hold her off at the end. Not that she ran poorly. I thought she ran well. I'm a big fan of hers. I like her as a horse. I'm probably going to try and find a way to use her in here somewhere. I can't make her my top pick because I think she's facing some horses who just might be better than her here.
2 Chad Brown trainees complete this quality field of 3-year-old fillies. We'll start with Uni, the number 11, 3rd behind New Money Honey in the Belmont Oaks in her first start for Chad off the layoff. Real nice trip and ride from Arad Ortiz in the Lake Placid. Just couldn't get to Proctor's Ledge. And last time out in the Sands Point, beautiful trip in behind La Coronel. La Coronel had perhaps a better trip down on an easy lead. She came and got La Coronel in the stretch, but she also had a very nice trip. It'll be interesting to see what she works out from post 11. She'll probably have to lose ground at some point, and there's not a ton of pace to set her up.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I wonder if Irad just has to take her back in this race to try and save some ground, and maybe that works against her. You're right that she got a good trip last time, but she also kicked hard in the stretch. I love the way she finished in there. This filly has gotten better with every start since she's been over here. I think she's a huge player right back in here.
And the number 11, New Money Honey, as we take a look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector, is projected to be on the lead. We know she can take advantage of slow-paced races. She did it 3 starts back in the Grade 3 Wonder again at this distance at Belmont. A race with no speed. She broke from the outside post. She cleared to the top. She walked around the track. She's also very versatile. Her win in the Belmont Oaks was strong. She beat 3 of these common foes, and they took a shot in the Alabama. And boy, Chad just was unlucky to take on some really good 3-year-old fillies on dirt.
Yeah, right. I mean, she's probably just not a dirt horse. And listen, that trip wasn't perfect for her in the Alabama either. Not that she was winning, because she wasn't. But they just took a shot in the Alabama. She's back on her preferred surface now. The figures may not say this. I think she's the horse to beat in this race. I think she just might be the best horse in the race.
Didn't she inherit the mantle from Loch Cornell as the best 3-year-old turf filly, not only by virtue of her win in the Belmont Oaks, but what she did before that, and she lost no luster, obviously, on dirt.
Yes, I think so. And back to turf, this is what she wants. And you're right, you know, post 11's no bargain going 9 furlongs, but she's going. There's not that much pace to her inside. I think she can clear to the front in this race, or else just get right up there in a pretty nice trip in here. I think she's the horse to beat. I picked against her. I'm going to bet against her. I'm using her in all my multi-race wagers, though. She's the horse to beat.
I think you kind of have to use her in any kind of multiple race wagers. I would be kind of against her at a shortest price. However, I want to look for at least some sort of a price in here. Mike, you like Proctor's Lead? She's 9-2 on the morning line. She's just been so good, and I think the point you made earlier is very well taken. She's going to get a good trip as we look at our selections.
Yeah, I think she is. That's one of the main reasons I like her. I do like the improvement she's shown. I mean, she's been a good horse from day one, basically, and she's really improved lately, and I think she'll get a good trip in this race. And if she's going to be in that, you know, $10 to $11 range, I think that's fair for her.
I think, to your point about the number 7, Wu Haida, the European invader, that the horses she faced are just as good as the ones she's faced here. And that with Lasix, with a little bit more improvement, that she's lightly raced, and with a good trip, she doesn't have to be 100 lengths out of it, she can get over the hump here. Unfortunately, she's 4-1 on the morning line. I would need 5 in order to play her to win. I'm going to go 7, 2, 9, and 10. Mike's going 2, 10, 11, and 7 in the Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup at Keeneland on Saturday. If you are playing that card from home, please sign up to DRF Bets. New members immediately receive a $300 cash bonus, and all you have to do is head on over to drf.com/fall and use the promo code FALL300. Approximate post time for the QE2 Challenge Cup, race number 9 at Keeneland on Saturday, 5:30 Eastern. Good luck.